We are watching Emma's backstroke underwater from the side, commentary by Coach Chris. Our first run through, we're going to go full speed, just so we can take a look at how our stroke looks underwater, moving at full speed. Decent turn-in approach. I like the glide. The kick out looks great. A little bit too sharp of an angle, sitting up a little bit into the breakout. That would be something we'll talk about. But the turn looked fairly solid for your age. Now let's go ahead and find an angle where we're getting a good look at your stroke as you swim by. All right, so we're going to frame forward again, leading with the hand or leading with the shoulder. Real nice shoulder roll here. We can see that. Talked about it on the above water video. But the thing I like most is a really nice deep pull. Look at your catch. You're getting about 8 inches under the water to a foot underwater. You're grabbing the deep water. That is a pretty effective pull. We'll take a closer look at it from the head on. But that is a very effective. Your fingers are pointed right at the camera. That is exactly how you want to pull backstroke. Really nice finish as you're snapping through as we rotate. So we'll take a closer look at the pull from the head on, but everything I'm seeing right now is pretty textbook. This is how you want. Now we look at the legs, we can see what we talked about on the above water video. Your kick is coming out of the water. So you want to try and get the top foot a little bit deeper, keep it a little deeper. You want to make sure you're kicking water the whole time. Unlike freestyle, we don't want to have those kicks where our feet come out of the water a little bit. Really good turn. Good initiation. The one thing I will say, though, is we're just over-rotating a little bit. You can see here, you're looking at your feet. Your head's kind of following your feet to the wall, so we're not looking up at the ceiling or at the roof or looking through the surface at the roof. We want to make sure that we're not watching the feet land on the wall. We want to make sure that we're getting our eyes off our feet. As our feet start to land on the wall, we need our eyes looking through the surface right at the ceiling. So just a little bit of a different head position, and you won't be quite as curled up when you go to push off. So solid push off. Frame forward. I really like the glide. I mean, look how stable you are. Your feet aren't wiggling, your head's not wiggling, your body's not wiggling. Anytime we have that wiggle or movement as we're gliding, especially with the feet, that slows us down. And you're doing a real good job of keeping everything nice and firm, and you're not getting pushed around by the water, cutting through it real clean. That's what we look for in our streamlines. And you used a really good body length glide before you started these dolphin kicks. So really effective. Nice range of motion. And I really like your dolphin kicks. We've been working really hard on those. Keep those feet together, though. That was, I don't know if you saw that last kick. Some of those feet are just a little staggered, which underwater they're probably not going to see or catch, but we want to be careful on butterfly because that will DQ you on butterfly where it won't on backstroke. So try to get those feet a little together. Now this is the position that we really need to kind of clean up a little bit. So if you look, you're kind of pulling your head in a little bit too much. And so I'm trying to grab a tool here so I can highlight this. So you can see you're kind of curled up. You're curled up in this shape. And if you're curled up in that shape with your head, what you're doing is you're creating a lot of drag. And you're going to see you come towards the surface at that angle. So we want to make sure that when we are getting to that last little bit of water, before we break out, that we're not coming up at a steep angle. So because that head's curled and we're taking this early stroke, you're still pretty far underwater, so we're kind of mistiming that breakout too. But what you want to do is you want to try to hit the surface. You want to lean back with the head and chest. You want to try to hit the surface flat. So like from your feet to your head, you want to be flat and just kind of float up and hit the surface with every square inch of you at the same time. You don't want to angle up like this where you're at now. where you're kind of like at an angle heading towards the surface. So right now you're at that angle. So you're going to hit with the hands first, then the head, then the body. It's not like a dive. We don't want to hit the surface on backstroke like that for our breakout. We want to actually hit it like almost like an inverse belly flop. We want to hit flat. So what you want to do is you're coming towards that breakout. You want to lean back away from it. So as you get to this point where the water is coming towards your surface, the surface is coming towards your face, you want to lean back as if you're trying to avoid hitting the surface. And that'll get you moving forward, and that'll also give you a very effective breakout. So don't sit up into the breakout. Don't let your face hit the breakout. As that surface comes at you, lean away from it. You don't want to get to the surface yet. You want to flatten out and be as flat as you can when you finally hit the surface. Again, the pull looks really good from these angles underwater. I like where you're pointing your hands. I like the angle of your elbow bend. So that looks really solid. We're going to look at the head-on underwater video next, and that'll give us an even better look at your hand entry and your pull. But a lot of solid things on this video, a lot of solid things on the underwater video. Your pull looks great, body position great. Keep the kick underwater, and let's try and work on our head positioning as we land on that turn. And of course, let's try and work on that streamlined path on backstroke. We want to lean back, keep the head away from the surface, just try and hit the body flat up against the surface as we hit that breakout. And just be a little more patient and time that first arm pull so we're right under the surface, not about 8 inches under the surface. So let's look at the other underwater video and take a look at what we can see with your pull.